Hey guys, thanks for joining today. Wanted to just say that it's been a long time since I've been able to get back and do some training in front of everybody. So just want to say thank you for the time. Today, what we're going to do is do something pretty easy. What we're going to do is we're going to focus on um, pretty much just getting people set up on the appropriate site with the 3Mark portal. So once again, uh, just a couple quick things. First and foremost, what we're going to do is we're going to switch this over to Zoom meetings as of next week. We're going to also have the opportunity for people to really get a chance to collaborate because once again, that is the idea, right? We're here to collaborate, we're here to grow together and ultimately build something special. So, but what we're going to talk about today is just the basics, stuff to get you rocking and rolling, stuff to really get you moving in the right direction. And so I think as we get closer to quarter three, that's usually a time when a lot of people start submitting more business. And so it's always good to go back to fundamentals. If you need to see this again, I am recording it, so it'll be on the YouTube channel later. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just read one of the newsletters. There will be a link to that as well. So ultimately, I wanted to give you some insight on the 3Mark portal. We have all of our business really flow through 3Mark for life annuities. And some of you may have a direct contract with the AIG QOL portfolio. Some of you may have it directly through 3Mark. There's reasons for that. If you have any questions about that, just let me know. But for the most part, all of our business is really done on the insurance side, the disability side, long-term care annuities through the 3Mark portal. And it's very easy to get to. So first and foremost, we have 3mark.com. Very easy, 3mark.com. And it brings you to this landing page. And what happens is after you register, once again, after you register, which you should have gotten a link for that to get, set up in the system through SureLC. Then at that point, you would register here, right here at that button. And what you'll find is it'll ask you name, address, all the easy stuff. Who referred you? You can put Valor Financial Specialist. You can put Phil Resch. Or if you have a specific agency manager or upline, if you want to call it, who introduced you, you can put their name in there as well. You can put producer. Carrier representative would be if a wholesaler was getting appointed on the site. But other than that, you'll hit register and then you'll create your own login. So up here, I'm going to use my wife's login because she has more cool stuff than I do. My wife is actually the initial owner of Valor Financial Specialists. So we are a women-run organization. Oh yeah. And so she has the power. She has all the power when it comes to the different things here, like seeing cases from everybody. So if we open it up now, you saw at the top we had more options or opportunities that came about as the minute we opened and registered and got in the system. So first and foremost, if you're looking for some videos to help you on the 3Mark portal, there are videos right here. Access our training videos through the sales cycle, and they'll have their own. So I have mine on the YouTube channel. They have some as well, an overview, smart view, excuse me, WinFlex, and additional videos to help you kind of get started. But if I go back to the advisor welcome page, a couple things that I'll share with you here that I think are important. When you're starting to get contracted, again, you would get a link from me that would get you into SureLC. Once you get set up into the 3Mark portal, if you simply go under tools and resources and you go to online contracting, now you don't have to fish for that email anymore. It's in one spot and you hit contract online with SureLC and you can get in right here. So if you haven't done this yet, once again, there are specific links that I'll send you to get you in the system. But if you'll notice here, the whole idea of this Sure LC is get the red out. So there's a yellow button right here. That's because I was FINRA registered. I technically still have my FINRA licenses. But more importantly, when you go through this process, you want to make sure that you get all the red out. And where you'll typically find it is doing business as. Now, in my welcome email that I send out, I say doing business as is probably the most important part. If you want to create your own LLC, then you would put doing business as a business entity. And in the business entity section, you also need to have a national producer number for your business. So if you do not have a national producer number, you have to go to nipr.com and register in your local resident state to have a national producer number tied into your LLC. That's the only legal way you can get a commission sent to your LLC. Now, what you'll notice here is you could also do individual. That means it's going to pay to your social, and it's going to pay to you as an individual. Business entity has to go to the business, which you'll also need a voided check from your business. Last but not least is LOA. So if you've ever been in a MLM group, multi-level marketing group, where they pay you, that's the same thing here. Someone other than the carrier pays you. I picked LOA because I have all my commissions go to my business. And so my wife, on the other hand, operates as a business entity. So if you, as a business owner, have an LLC, you would sign up as a business entity. Okay. If you want to pay commissions to your downline, have all your downline people do license only agent, and then you dictate how they get paid, not the carrier. Completely up to you. We can structure it any way that you want. Now, on the flip side is you have the simple questions. The bigger one is always CE and training and E&O. So CE and training, you'll see here it monitors everything for you. It tells you if you have everything up to date and where you can sell. So best interest is important, especially for annuities. That usually correlates as well with the annuity states. Index state training. So I actually had to get proctored to sell IULs in Iowa. Fun times. And then you'll have things like CE. So I got CE due in 2025. So I better, get on there right now, apparently. But the other one would be Web CE. So your monitored accounts, that would go along with the continuing education. You just want to make sure that that's all up to date, because if it's not, it'll hinder you from going to requests. When you come down below and you'll see requests, you can create a request and you can start going through the process. As you can see, we got pretty much everybody here. Now, if I go back for one sec, you'll see, because some people have asked the question, hey, Phil, my thing says that carrier still, and I have a writing code. Why is that? This is a manual entry. Okay, so in order for someone to go from at carrier to completed, that means our LNC team has to manually do it. So don't be afraid if you see at carrier still. You probably might get your code sooner than later. I've had several writing codes already, even though it says completed 3. So don't take all this for face value. If you have any questions about that part, please feel free to text, call, email, whatever it takes, okay? So that's under tools and resources, and we have the online contracting. Now, let's say, for example's sake, you've seen some of the other videos where I showed you how to run term quotes. You know how to run the term quotes. Client is ready to proceed. Well, we then go to highlight tools and resources, and we go to forms and IGO. Forms and IGO is where you're going to submit your business. Now, the reason why we do it on the carrier site here, 3Mark, versus the actual carrier site is because we want to make sure that the case managers that 3Mark is providing for us can monitor your cases for you. So if you do it on the carrier site, then they don't know what's going on until the commission is paid to 3Mark to then pay to you. But if you want the individual case managers to help you, you want to submit as much business through the 3Mark portal. If you submit it on the carrier site, not a problem. Just create a PDF of the application and email it to your case manager, and she can then get it uploaded in the system to monitor. But this is a more streamlined process. So if I hit start new case, and let's just say we get good old Phil Resch, 12/22/1981, male, and then I'm going to go to Tennessee. And let's just say, we have different options here. So IULs, for example's sake, what you'll find is pretty much all the IULs are here, except for my alma mater, Corbridge or AIG. They're actually under Universal Life for some weird reason. So if I click on Universal Life and I hit Find Available Products, you'll see the QOL Max Accumulator. That is an IUL. QOL Value Plus Protector 3, that is an IUL. So those are the ones with living benefits. Any ones that say QOL have living benefits. Any that do not have living benefits. So just an FYI there. But let's use an easy one. Let's go with term. And I'll hit Find Available Products. And then once again, you'll see a whole slew of options here. Now, there are plenty of different carriers to choose from. And if you are familiar with this process, it'll be very easy. So in the last screen with the with the contracting, I said, get the red out, okay? Now, let's say, for example's sake, we go through here and we start the process with an application. Now it's get the yellow out. You'll see anytime you want to do business, in order to proceed forward with what you call IGO or in good order, you're going to have to get all the yellow out. So have you changed your name? No. Married status? Married. Sorry, ladies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, or whatever. And so as you can see here, the idea is there will be other things that pop up when you answer certain questions. You can put occupation, income, so on and so forth. But this is the process to go through to actually get your cases, or I like to say the pig through the python. And you see you'll have different sections here to ultimately get you finally to the end where you can validate and lock it. Now, the cool thing with this system is they've updated it so you can do a lot of stuff online. You don't have to print out for wet signatures, and you can move forward. Pretty much every carrier has done that now. On the back end, it's a little different. So there are carriers that if I go under this underwriting resources and I go down to docfast, some people are familiar with this, some people are not. But what docfast is it's a quick way to place a case. So carriers will start to go through this process. I don't have any cases right now that are in placed or soon to be placed mode, but you would see right here that you would be able to click on the documents to get it pushed through for your client, and then ultimately for you to get the case placed. A lot of carriers have moved to this, and so you'll hear from your case manager, you've been sent the documents via docfast, and that is once again under underwriting resources, this last one right here. So that's where you can find any cases that are outstanding that are basically at the finish line. They just need final signatures. Most of it will go through docfast. I will say as well, as I know there's some people on here who are used to getting paper applications, or paper policies. Here to tell you that those are going away and they're focusing more on e-copies. That's why this docfast system is set up. It's to make it more transactional, quicker for the consumer to get the policy placed, quicker for the agent to get it placed, and then ultimately is to save paper or eliminate a carbon footprint from the carriers. That's the story they say. I think it's just because they don't want to pay extra money and then pay the shipping costs. But carriers like John Hancock and Lincoln have already gotten to the point where they will not issue a paper copy. So if you want a paper copy, you almost have to go to FedEx, Kinko's, and actually do it yourself. And I very, very rarely do that now, unless the case is like five, six figure kind of payouts and they're demanding to have a paper copy. But what you'll find is most carriers now have a robust online portfolio. For example's sake, National Life Group. I just finished a case for a client where they deposited about 22 grand into an account or a policy, but all they had to do was they finished all the stuff through DocuSign. The National Life Group sent them a DocuSign, they signed it, and then the next instructions were go onto the online portal, fill in your information, fill out your banking info, and hit submit. And it was done that way. So it's very non-invasive for the consumer to get everything done. And so I had constant communication. I got emails as well, but that's the way that the future is going when it comes to applications and process. So even though some people will say, well, it's cultural or people want policies, you have to also educate them that things change, the industry changes, and if they want to pay, like I think it cost me $300 or $400 to print off the 100 some odd pages and get a notebook for it. If they want to pay for it, then Godspeed. But that's the way of the future, unfortunately, with the industry. Um, so those are the major ones. Now, just to kind of go over this, which I think is very important. So in the underwriting resources, Tremark has put a lot of effort into their foreign national playbook. Now, if you are in Texas, Florida, California, those are usual hotbeds for a lot of foreign national businesses. Obviously, they're close to the border, or you have a lot of visitors coming from across the pond in California. Same thing up the East Coast. You'll probably see it more often, but you'll want to find out and study some of these carriers. So, foreign national carriers and resident aliens or I-10 carriers. Depending on what they fall into, you have carriers that can offer where other ones don't want to play in that market anymore. So, for example's sake, if you have a client who is here on a resident or an I-10, and all they have is an I-10 and a passport, and that's it, then National Life Group, you can get term insurance with them, and F&G and National Life Group, you can get IULs for them as well. There has to be a tie into or a nexus to the United States. You'll see that you can look up all the foreign national guidelines here, and they'll tell you exactly how to proceed with that type of client. So once again, it goes back to us as agents doing that field work that's so important. A lot of people seem to forget that we have to do field underwriting to make sure that we're sending the right type of business to the right carrier. So that's I-10s, refugees, from like Venezuela, countries like that. That's where National Life Group actually started becoming the number one carrier for IUL sales in the United States. Then on top of that, when you look at foreign national carriers, so say you have someone coming from, I don't know, like Japan, and the only tie-in or the nexus that they need for the United States is about 25 grand in a bank account. And then Symetra, they have their own microsite to talk about their high net worth foreign national plan. And so they have a very robust foreign national plan right now that can offer some clients who don't live in the United States, but come and visit the United States for a set period of time. And you can go over all the highlights and the overviews of what Symetra has to offer, but it's probably the most open type of opportunity for those who don't stay in the United States, but come here for either business, their kids might go to school here, some type of nexus to the United States, but very minimal. And Symetra has basically made it very clear that they want to express more time in the foreign national space. And then you have different opportunities here of things you can look for. So requirements, you can go through and see what type of requirements are needed for foreign nationals. So there's a lot of documentation here, and they spent a lot of time and resources to get something like this up to make your job easier, especially in the foreign national space. On the flip side, just talking about traditional underwriting and being a good field underwriter, I've had people ask me quite often for underwriting manuals and questions about that. Well, under the resources, underwriting and impaired risk, we actually have, if you click on carrier specific underwriting guidelines and resources, we have everybody's underwriting guidelines right here. So you can actually look it up on your own time if you know I'm traveling or whatever, and you want to check out a specific carrier based on either financials or health or things along those natures to really make sure that you're getting the right type of service that you need for your customers. Because once again, you might favor one carrier over others, which there's no problem with that. You know, you have this bell cow carrier that you like to give all your business to, and you might have a question about something. I'll give you a good example. So a lot of times when you talk about preferred and preferred best risk classes, it's actually pretty interesting. So a lot of times I'll deal with people that say that if they don't have like diabetes, they should be preferred plus. Far from the truth. Okay, so if your cholesterol HDL ratios are less or are higher than this, then you're going to qualify for preferred non-tobacco. These carriers are very strict with their lines. So if it's 4.6, they're going to say you're a preferred non-tobacco. You would have to, on your dime or your client's dime, go back to their doctor, get another blood draw, and hopefully the cholesterol HDL ratio is less. And then they would average the two, and you could get a reconsideration for underwriting, but it would be at the cost of the client at that point. Another trick of the trade, just to give you guys a heads up, if your client gets hit with nicotine, despite them saying they've never smoked, despite them saying, I was hanging out with people last night, it must be secondhand smoke, they're a smoker. You can't contest that with the carrier. Okay, so that is a smoker rating. The only way you can get around that, and this isn't really like around it per se, but more or less guidelines that you can find with Lincoln, John Hancock, and Prudential, that if your client smokes cigars, nicotine patch, Chantix, not Chantix, dip, chew, pipes, anything but cigarettes, you have the ability and opportunity to get a standard non-tobacco, but you have to admit it on the application. If you just get a if you get a tobacco rating and they say, oh, it's cigars, doesn't matter. You missed the shot with those carriers. So just giving you an FYI, there are some niches that you can see with other carriers, and actually it is, let's see, impairment niches right here. So you'll see certain carriers play better with different ranges. And that is your other tobacco, Prudential, Lincoln, Hancock, and Securian. So you have some niches here. Those who deal in the diabetic space, Columbus, they have 3 table shaves. So I was able to get an 8.0 A1C, a standard non-tobacco on the IULs because of their table shave program. They'll take C, B, and A and shave it up to standard. So it's a great opportunity to help your clients get a better rating. But these niches or niches, however you want to say it, are all available once again under the Intel tab right here in impairment niches, however you want to say it. IntelliSheets is also a good one if you're trying to figure out non-med for a consumer. So if I go down to the accelerated underwriting sheet and I want to see what carriers have it, I'll check all carriers and hit open it in an Excel sheet. And what will happen is it'll pull up all the carriers and their accelerated underwriting guidelines. So if you're like, hey, who's going to give the most in accelerated underwriting? You can siphon through. So 2.5 million is pretty high. 3 million National Life Group for the IULs. all except term. Yeah. So the IULs, you got 5 million with Nationwide. You got three. So five principal. So if you need to find out some additional information and say it's 1 o'clock in the morning and Phil's asleep, you've got opportunities to pull it up on the 3Mark portal as well to help you out when you need it most. For those who have teams, for those who want to see all your downline production, you can monitor it through My Cases. In respect to the fact that this is going on a live portal, I will not show you that. But needless to say is you can either see all of your business from all of your carriers in one spot, and you can click on what requirements are needed inside of that smart office. Or if you have a team, you can see your entire team's downline in My Cases. So it's a great opportunity. Um, Quotes, term quotes. I've showed you that before. It's actually on my YouTube channel, so I don't want to overcomplicate things. Same thing with WinFlex. We can always do more trainings on WinFlex. And what I would say too is if you have ideas for trainings and stuff that you want to see in this forum, feel free to email me any topics you're looking for. There's nothing off the table per se on opportunities for things to go over. So it could be sales ideas, it could be product specific, it could be resources like this, and so on and so forth. So I wanted to just kind of go over the easy stuff today: how to submit business, how to submit contracting. For those who have downline agents and you're setting up hierarchies and structure. We have a transmittal form. I can walk through that separately. I don't want to take everybody's time with something like that, but there's just plenty of opportunity for you to use this as your back office to build out and grow your practice all in one spot. And I will give major kudos to David Royce. David Royce was actually very pivotal in helping us get the 200 million secured for a high net worth individual. He went to 11 carriers to basically go to them and say, "Hey, if you want to play in this realm, in this case, you need to give us this offer," and we got everybody aligned. So you have a tremendous resource in David Royce when it comes to underwriting help. You can also do your own underwriting qualifications and send them off to the carriers to see what they'll provide, and through X-ray. And once again, you have dedicated case managers, LNC, and underwriting to help you out when you need it most. So that just want to keep it real simple, real clean. I will turn the recording off and we'll answer any questions people have. I did see one question that I'll answer here.